ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the January 12, 2016 County Commission meeting. I'd remind you to silence your cell phones. The meeting documents are in the front row in the white folder. And Robert in the front row over here has listening devices if you need them. With that, we'll move on to routine business. Item number 1 is consider a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 2 is approve the County Commission minutes from January 5th, 2016. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second.
I noticed they haven't got me on there
We got you on there.
as attending.
Oh. Pull that out quick again. It's on there.
Is it?
Commissioner's presence, yep, it's
You're
on
there.
there. It's on the second line. So
Okay.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 3
Okay,
is
we're on.
bills to be paid in the amount of $665,478.82. Is there a motion?
Bills.
Second?
Second.
Second, comments? No comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 4 is reports. There are none. Item number 5 is personnel actions. Item A is consider a motion to approve the routine personnel actions. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 6 is application for abatements. There are none. Item number 7 is notices and request. Item A, East Dakota Water Development District Notice of Meeting, 1 o'clock, Wednesday, January 13th, American Legion Cabin, 520 South Pier, South Dakota, Pier Street, Pier, South Dakota.
Madam Chair, I would just point out that meeting in Pierre is difficult for us to make. They usually meet in Brookings and sometimes even in Sioux Falls, but Pierre is a tough row to hoe.
Item number 8 is planning and zoning notices. There are none. Item number 9 is compromise of lien. Jeff Barth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant today on DPNO 70901 is asking for a compromise in full with no additional payment. They're looking at buying a house on February 2nd for $189,400. The lien was incurred for public defender services provided in 2009 and 13. The applicant has a history of partial payments. A total of $651.40 has been provided, and partial payments of $451.40, or 69%, has already been received, leaving the $200 remaining balance. It's $30,500 a year. His girlfriend, a stay-at-home mother to their 3 kids, receives $5,200 a year in child support payments. They have some other assets, and including a checking account balance of $5,800, but they're going to need $5,500 at the time of closing, and they do have some other debts. He said he was not aware of the lien, that there was a balance remaining. But he also says that at this moment he cannot afford to pay any additional because of the closing approaching. So at this point he would like us to forgive the last $200 without an additional payment. I tell you, making payments is a good thing, and when you consider the fact that there are children and stuff involved here, and that they're going to be owning a home where they're going to be paying $2,700 or so in taxes, I'll make a motion to accept his offer of no payment at this, to clear it off, and ask if there might be a second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to dismiss the DP&O of 70901. Is the applicant present? No, the applicant is not here. Are there any other comments on this? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have the opportunity for public comment. If there's anyone here that would like to speak about anything that is not on the agenda today. Seeing none, we will move on to regular business. 9 o'clock, we have item number 10 is a public hearing to consider the application of retail on-off sale malt beverage license application from Tucker Walk Vineyard for one half southwest 1/4, including the Whaley Tract 1 exclusion H-1 and exemption the Copel Edition, Section 24, Township 103 North, Range 48 West, 48348 254th Street, Garrettson, South Dakota. Cindy Jepson.
Thank you, Cindy. The auditor's office did receive this application. It was submitted by Sue Greenlee, and they are wishing to sell malt beverages at their vineyard for some special events that they hold throughout the year. And this would be a typical yearly malt beverage license. And Sue Greenlee is here if you have any questions for her.
Okay. Are there any questions for Sue on this malt beverage license? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in support of it? Sue, did you have anything you wanted to say? Okay. Is there anyone that wants to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I would look for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 11 is consider a motion to appoint a candidate to the Planning Commission Board for a 4-year appointment. Scott Anderson. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Scott Anderson, County Planning. As you indicated, I am bringing an item before you to have request an appointment to a vacancy that's on the Planning Commission. This is a 4-year vacancy. It would end in December of 2019. I worked with the commission office with Robert, and we advertised through our media outlets and posted notices in the paper, on our internet website, got the word out. We received 3 submissions, people interested in serving, and I have invited all 3 of those people to attend today because I thought you may like to meet them and ask them any questions if you so desired. Their information, they filled out an application sheet which has been provided to you for your review. I also indicated to you in an email last week that one of the candidates, Paul Kosbooth, was unable to attend due to a work meeting and sent his regrets that he could not be here. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer this. Answer any questions you have. This is, once again, an appointment to the Planning Commission. They meet once a month, the 4th Monday of every month, except for December. There's no meeting.
Are there any questions for Scott? Give the applicants, if you would like to say anything, you can, or at least introduce yourself. If you'd like to. Al? Morning, you just identify yourself and your address.
Yes, I'm Al Miron, 25935 469th Avenue, Sioux Falls. And I did apply for the spot on the board. I feel that I'm qualified, that I'm fairly familiar with the ordinances of Minnehaha County Planning and Zoning. I come with no particular agenda. If you should happen to choose me, I would work with the office and with you. My only other comment is that I would try to treat the people of Minnehaha County with dignity and with fairness. That said, I know you also have other qualified candidates, and I'm not offended if you do not choose me. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, is there any questions for Al? Okay.
Hi, I'm Pete Sonstegard, 2514 South Clarkway Drive, Sioux Falls. And I also am one of the applicants for the position. I think it's very nice for the county that we have 3 applicants, and we're very fortunate. In a lot of counties, they don't have that opportunity to have multiple applicants, and also very good applicants at that. Once again, like Al said, if it's myself or anybody else, just look forward to contributing to the community, to the county, and whoever it might be, I think will do a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Any questions for Pete? Okay. And we are very fortunate to have 3 very qualified candidates for this position. That's what we want to see when we have an opening, that people will actually apply for them. So I do thank you for sticking your neck out and writing us a resume and asking to be part of our board. With that, I'll turn it over to the commission for a discussion or a motion.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner.
this is not directly on the subject, but I think that we do have some wonderful candidates for this position, and if they're not able to serve in this capacity, I hope they find another way to help our county, because we need all the bright lights we can to accomplish our mission.
Thoughts, motions, anybody? Everybody's thinking.
What's the process on this?
Let's nominate somebody. That's the process.
Commissioner Heiberger?
Commissioner Bender.
Just to get the discussion going, I know Paul Kosboth wasn't able to be here today. I have had the opportunity to work with him in his job before his current job, when he worked for South Dakota Housing, and found him to be very level-headed and a pleasure to work with, a very solid decision maker, and based solely on the fact that he's somebody that I know, I would go ahead and nominate him for this position.
Okay, I have a nomination for Paul Kosboth. Is there a second?
I'll second that one, only for more conversation.
I have a motion and a second for Paul Kosboth. Additional conversation?
I will tell you that I either know the family members or the person themselves of all 3 of these. You couldn't pick 3 other wonderful people, frankly, that I'm aware of. The Sonstegard family is extremely involved in the church that I go to. They're involved in the community, a great group of people. I'm sure Paul or Peter is too. So I could highly recommend them. We all know that Al is here on a regular basis and frankly does a great job of supporting the agricultural community and trying to help some of the non-agricultural people understand what's actually happening in this county. And I've also worked with Mr. Kosboth, so I mean, there isn't a bad choice. You could put him in a hat, and whomever you picked out, you would feel like a winner.
Yeah. I have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments? You ready to vote?
And just a point of order, I don't know if you want to take multiple nominations and vote that way, or if you want to vote on one candidate before you. That's your prerogative as the chair, but I just wanted to clarify that. I think that was maybe Dick's question.
Okay.
Yep.
And how did you?
I do
Agree with our state's attorney that, we are doing this without, any prior consultation on this, and I'm greatly appreciative of Paul and Peter and Al being on this, and each of them has their hugely strong parts, and we haven't even really discussed their views on rural development or agriculture, although I think we have some idea where they might stand. I guess, do we need any further input from the candidates, or we didn't ask them any questions, and perhaps that's because we know them.
It's up to you if you have a question. I don't have a question.
Did the planning commission make any recommendations or not?
No.
No?
No, they did not. Are there any other nominations? I think we will stand with the one we have. We have a motion and a second to nominate Paul. Do we need a roll call vote on it?
Commissioner
probably.
Barth?
Aye.
Bender? Benega?
Yes.
Kelly?
Aye.
Hiberger?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, guys, for coming about, and I hope you apply again. There'll be another opening, I understand, at the end of this year. So I hope you put your names back in the hat again, please. So,
Madam Chair, that
Commissioner.
there may always be the chance for an opening for county commission, for example.
That's right.
People should always be cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And I think these are some great candidates.
That will move on to item number 12. Consider a motion to authorize a $7,000 transfer from the Museum Store Fund to the Museum Enterprise Fund in accordance with the 2016 budget. Bill Hoskins. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Hoskins, Director, Siouxland Heritage Museums. This is a request to transfer $7,000 from the Museum Store Fund, which is a revenue fund, to the Museum Enterprise Fund, which is also a revenue fund. We have the money would be used in support of our educational programming. It was in the 2016 budget that was approved by the Commission and City Council, but state law requires a motion from the Commission to take that action.
Okay. Any questions for Bill? Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Item number 13. Kristen Trana, we are going to consider again a motion to rescind authorization of the purchase of one 2016 Chevy Malibu from the Billion Automotives in Sioux Falls to authorize the purchase of one 2016 Chevy Impala in the amount of $17,372 from Beck Motors in Pierce, South Dakota from contract number 16865, competitively bid and awarded by the state of South Dakota. Kristen, we always love to have you back.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you're not annoyed to see me again.
Yeah.
I hope this has not been as frustrating for you as it has been for us. My fingers are crossed that when I send that if you approve, when I send the email to Tracy, he will say, yes, we'll get it right ordered. This has been becoming just
It's
so
been
very troublesome.
Very
but
back and forth for you.
it stems from GM, that these dealerships, when they go to submit the order, GM is not fulfilling the orders any longer. And the Billion one was very shocking because when I had spoke to him the Tuesday before the holidays, he was like, yeah, no, I don't see that there's going to be any problem with that. Okay. And then I go to order it, and he's like, oh, no, I can't get it anymore. Really? So apparently the dealerships have been working with GM, and they've gotten the Impala open.
Okay.
But he did say it was only going to be about a week, so I literally have the email ready to hit to send to Tracy right away.
Okay.
So hopefully I won't be back saying, okay, Billion got the Malibu open, but hopefully.
Well, can we approve for Kristen here this car?
We're not buying 4 cars.
No,
though.
we're not. We're going to try
Only
to buy
one.
one. We're going
Only
to try to
one.
buy one.
Motion to approve that.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Go get your computer.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is authorize the chairman to sign the agreement with Kalb Construction for facility exterior repairs at the W.H. Lyons Fairground. Robert Wilson. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Commissioners. Robert Wilson with the Commission Office. Back in June of 2014, we had some hail damage out at the W.H. Lyon Fairgrounds that damaged exterior sidings, roofing, different components of a number of buildings out there. We've gone through a process up to this point to prepare an RFP and bid documents to put that out for competitive bid to complete all of the repairs. Most recently, that was put out for bid, and on December 1st, 4 bids were submitted for that project. The low bid was Kalb Construction at a base price of $140,900 with one bid alternate in the amount of an additional $9,000. Based on that low bid, we have gone back and followed up and drafted a construction contract that we have for your consideration today. And if we, pending your approval, we would move forward with a pre-construction meeting and get this project underway.
Are there any questions for Robert? And are we approving, or requested to approve with the bid alternate number 1, aren't we?
Correct.
Correct. So is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Excuse me.
A motion to approve the base price bid of $1,040, $140,900 with a number 1 alternate bid of $9,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 15 is update and status report of the 91st legislative session on bills.
And my legislative update is going to be very short today because we're going to get the session underway this afternoon. The governor's State of the State address is at 1 o'clock this afternoon. For the most part, the bills that impact the counties that have already been introduced, I've spoken with you about in previous weeks. The one new bill that has been introduced since last Tuesday that I wanted to bring to your attention is Senate Bill 27, an act to revise certain personnel requirements for ambulance services and to repeal a hardship exemption. And this would have an impact as far as the number of EMTs that would be required to ride on rural ambulance calls from 2 down to 1. And then it would also remove a hardship exemption where I've worked with Linda Young, our emergency manager, quite a bit to understand this a little more in the last week, and it would, with the removal of this exemption, it would, where in the past to get this exemption, if there were personnel challenges for some of these services, they had to be a little more specific as to exactly what challenges they're facing, what steps they're taking to address these challenges, and this would remove that. The end result, as Lynn explains it to me, is that we may not get as detailed information as far as what the challenges they may be experiencing, and it clearly on their end it's a chance to cover more of their shifts, as many of those services have challenges with the number of volunteers and the people that are involved, and this is an effort to address that concern, and certainly something that we're going to need to watch as we move forward. But again, that's the one bill that new from last week that I would bring to your attention. And then
Robert, do you know, would we have the county option of staying with the 2?
I don't believe this bill is permissive. It appears that administrative rules govern the management, the state requirements. Obviously, you have a county ordinance for surface ambulance requirements, and I would defer to our state's attorney as far as how those mesh and work together. But your particular requirements, I would defer to the state's attorney's office on that, but understand that you do have an ambulance ordinance.
Depends on the final language that's adopted, if there's a intent to make that the standard across the state and not let local governments raise that standard, so to speak. And I think it's going to depend on what the particular language that comes out of that statute is. And once we have a better idea of that, I think we can look at that if that's a concern.
I think we should watch it. I'm sure this is probably deemed more for the West River Sparse counties, and I think we should kind of watch the bill and see if we can get inclusion in there that the county can take a higher standard.
And I think we will, it's certainly one that we will be working both with state's attorney's office, with our emergency management director on, and watching very closely, along with Metro Communications as we move through this session.
Any additional questions for Robert?
If there are any other questions, I would just point out one other thing that as an office we're trying to do to help you track bills through this session in your Dropbox folder. In addition to the weekly legislative memo that we prepare, we've also started experimenting with a legislative spreadsheet where we have a bill number, a very abbreviated description of the bill, but prime sponsor in each house and its status as the session moves forward. And so if you have access to Dropbox throughout the week prior to the memo being updated and posted on the website, we're going to try and keep the spreadsheet updated in real time so that if you have a question about a particular bill, you can log on there and take a look.
Okay. Any other questions for Robert? All right, thank you, Robert. We'll go on. Is there any Minnehaha County liaison reports? I would just tell you that this last week, Carol Muller, myself, Jamie Gravett, who's JDC Director, and Aaron Sertska, who's the JDAI Coordinator, traveled to Rapid City for a couple of meetings on Friday morning where we met with Arise, which does shelter care for Pennington County and the surrounding counties. As you're aware of, we will be losing our nonprofit who does our shelter care in Minnehaha County in March 1st. And so we are working towards how to rectify that situation. Like Carol says, it's a short-term problem with long-term possibilities, and we will get it figured out. We looked at some contracts with their deputy state sheriff and how they're running their program out there, and I think we came back with some very good ideas, and staff will be moving forward with working on with that. Carol, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Okay. Are there any other liaison reports? Is there any new business?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Barrett?
You know, looking at our budget report for last year, I see that the court's budget is, it looks like, from what I'm reading here, 58% on the wrong side. Where are we at with that?
Well, you did a supplement a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that covered it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Carol, did you have some other new business?
Yes, just wanted to summarize for you the insurances for the county, just because we have spent a little bit of time working on that this past few months and wanted to do a summary out for you. As you know, the insurance environment and the market is always in flux, and sometimes it's to our favor and sometimes it's a little bit more painful. This time it was a little bit more to our advantage, so we wanted to go through and take care of that. A few things that I just want to highlight from the memo that you have is that we raised the deductible on buildings per occurrence from $5,000 to $25,000. That was a savings of $21,000, and if you look at it, that was just to save $20,000 we may possibly use. So that was an easy decision to go through and make, and saves us $21,000 a year annually. We also are changing who we have our policy with for inland marine, and that will save us about $17,000 a year. Inland marine is always in flux because that's the equipment that gets purchased and goes off site. So as the highway or as the sheriff's office is buying things during the year, it's a moving target to go through and get that done. We also did some updating regarding deductibles, making sure that those were in line and what we were put on for that. The other major change that we did was regarding enhanced crime coverage. We've had in the past, we had a crime policy for $1,800, which covered only employees for $250,000. And we also are leaving in place currently the bond for crime in 2016 as we transition through. But the good news is that we were able to add in an enhanced crime coverage for $1 million that covers everybody. So our net gain to that is that we're able to save about $47,000 a year.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Any questions on that? Is there any old business? I would just tell you that in your packet, you will see your liaison assignments for this next year. Carol and I did a little bit of work on it, mostly Carol, and tried to combine a few things to make our assignment list maybe just a slight bit shorter. If you have any questions on how we did stuff, you can talk to either Carol or myself. I think we came up with some pretty good combinations. So with that being said, I would ask for a motion for executive session for a legal briefing. Is there a motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, meeting adjourned.